Hello, hello, hello. This is Aurelia Davis, the educator's educator, coming to you on a Monday afternoon, a beautiful sunny day in Chicago. How many of you were able to see the eclipse? My daughter took pictures and sent it to us to send it to the seniors. So I was able to witness the eclipse, but I just hope you're having a fantastic day. Teachers, you're almost getting ready to cross the finish line. Good for you. You're getting ready to cross the finish line. And let me tell you what will make that finish line a triumph for you. Go over to aureliadavis.com and click on the Thrive Retreat. Ah, Go over to aureliadavis.com and click on the Thrive Retreat. That's going to be in Tulum, Mexico from July 30th to August 4th. That's a fantastic way to end the school year. You deserve to get away and just celebrate what you have been able to accomplish all year long. Good for you. But go over to aureliadavis.com and click on the Thrive Retreat that will be taking place in Tulum, Mexico, July 30th through August 4th. I'm going to be there and I hope to see you there too. Okay, just getting a little information into you because teachers, we deserve something great after teaching all year. And this is being offered to you and I would take advantage of it if I were you. Okay? Okay, it was not going around when I was coming out of the school year into the summertime. But if it was available, I would have been there. But I'm going to be there this time. Thrive Retreat, Tulum, Mexico, July 30th through August 4th. Can't wait to see you there. But anyway, let's get into our subject matter tonight. There still seems to be, or there still is, problems with student behavior. There's still a lot of problems with students misbehaving in school. Misbehaving to the point where students are very destructive. They're tearing up classrooms, they're throwing chairs, they're tearing up books, they're hitting teachers. And this, can we really say that this is not acceptable? Of course, we can say it's not acceptable. By being a child or a student, you need to find out exactly what's causing the problem. That is your responsibility as an educator. You need to find out what's causing the problem. Now, if you cannot find out, look at the resources that are around you to help you find out. Our students are still suffering the backlash of the pandemic. I'll say that again. A lot of our students are still suffering the backlash of the pandemic, and they are showing out. They're showing out, they're acting up because they really didn't understand what was going on. They were locked in their homes for about a couple of months to a year, where they did not have the freedom that they're used to. And if you don't have the freedom that you're used to, that sets you up to have a tantrum. And so what has happened is that after they have gotten back into schools, they're still adjusting their bodies, they're still adjusting their minds to what is happening within the building itself. And I can almost say that any little thing can just sort of trigger them off to the point where they are acting up or acting out. But at the same time, those years that they were at home, you don't really know what happened to them during the time when they were at home and they could not come to school. School is an outlet for students. School is an outlet for students. And in some cases, it's a good outlet for students. And then some students just take it for granted because they have to go. But think about those children that might be coming from a home that might be dysfunctional. School is an outlet, that place where they can go for at least 6 hours and just be themselves or just relax and not have to worry about anything but just learning. And if that was denied them for a couple of years, a year and a half and whatever, it's hard for them to sort of get back into the routine of what they should do and what they should not be doing. Now, the article I read, it says student behavior is getting worse even in England. England, London, England, okay? So when we're thinking about student behavior, we're thinking about worldwide. We're talking about a worldwide situation. And what I want to make very clear is that back when I was teaching, we had issues also. We had issues with students fighting and things like that. And what we found is that we would try to squash a problem before it even got started in our building. And what we even found out later is that we needed a school-wide discipline plan, a school-wide discipline plan in order for every child and every teacher to be on board so that those students would know exactly what they could and what they could not do in the school. What we also found out is that suspension was a delight. Let me say that again. Suspending a child was a prize. Okay, let me put it that way. Suspending a child was considered a prize. That some of them wanted to get out of the classroom. Some of them didn't want to do any of the work, so they would do things to be suspended. Now, they did not necessarily want to be suspended and sent home because then the parents got involved and it was not pretty. But to be suspended and just go down to the office and sit there and read a book or whatever like that. Of course, kids back in the day in the 80s and 90s, they love that kind of stuff. They love that kind of stuff. But now it has become more serious. It has become more serious. We look at the issues of bullying and bullying, I think is first and foremost on the list of children misbehaving. But at the same time, you look at social emotional issues where children are misbehaving on a regular basis and where they to the point where even districts have started social emotional classrooms and training teachers how to do social emotional practices within the classroom, yoga, calm time, quiet time, whatever it takes to get these children back to the realm where they are controlling their bodies, they're controlling their minds, and they're controlling their spirits. I'm just going to say it, controlling their spirits. And it's not an overnight success. It's not an overnight success. You would find that child that basically has been having all kinds of emotional problems, even starting in kindergarten. That doesn't necessarily mean by first grade they're going to stop. Unless you get to the real meat as to what is going on, that child is going to continue to misbehave. Excuse me. We had a family in our building, and what we did is we just sort of rallied around this particular family. One was in my classroom, somebody else was in another classroom, but we basically rallied as educators around this family to sort of help them cope with life, cope with home, help the parents cope with parenting. We provided all kinds of resources, and those children and those parents were basically in our building on a daily basis. And we were giving them exactly what they need in order for them to be able to be successful in life. And that's something that's very important. How to be successful in life. Telling these children how to be successful in life. How to respect others. First of all, before you can respect others, you have to learn how to respect yourself. So we're talking about dealing with low self-esteem. We're talking about dealing with culture biases. We're talking about social emotional. A little bit of everything will cause a child to have disruptive behavior. All of these things, come together for a child, and it's just like a pop bottle. You open it up, and the air comes out, and then you put the top back on it, and then you may shake it a little bit, and then when you open it up again, what does it do? It explodes. That's what's happening with our children. Our children are just like little Coke bottles that are exploding. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand. They're trying to get self-satisfaction, some kind of satisfaction. And they don't understand that throwing a chair across the room that might hit someone else is that's not satisfying, because the repercussions of what happens after that child has been hurt, what's going to happen to you. So when we look at student behavior, and a lot of articles have come out from September up even up to now, we need to, as educators, as educational leaders, and then sometimes we need to take the whole building that you're working with and come up with a behavior modification plan, not only for your classroom, but something needs to be happening within that building. When we finally did create a behavior modification plan, we tried something that was given to us from another district or something, and what we came to realize very quickly is that one plan does not meet the needs of all children, especially if you're dealing with different cultures and different ethnic groups and age groups and things like that. So what we found out is that our little awards assembly that we would have, or Friday, good, the Friday programs that we would have after the children have, behaved nicely all week long, and then you give them a treat on Friday. That only worked for like kindergarten through second grade. Third and fourth was a whole different group where they had to get some other kind of rewards for behaving nicely, or doing very well with the behavior plan throughout the week. And of course, then the intermediate, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, sometimes they would escape out of the building, the ones that had did what they were supposed to do during the week. And it did not happen overnight. We could not fix things overnight, especially if they had been in place for a couple of years. But what we did do is that as educators and as administrators in our building, what we did start to do, we started tweaking what worked for this one and what worked for that one. And then we gave the teachers the opportunity to participate. They had to buy into it, but they didn't necessarily have to be into it 100%. And then what they would do is they would bring and say, well, I have this idea. This worked. And me and Miss Johnson, we're going to hook up our classrooms and we're going to do something special. So that means that we were not rebelling against what was already in place, but we just also added to what was going on. And it worked. It took about 2 years for us to get this particular program going, but it ended up working. And after a while, let me tell you something. After a while, the children were so trained. I'm laughing about this. The students were so trained that they self-monitored themselves. They monitored themselves behavior-wise. They started monitoring themselves. And it was so interesting because any children that would transfer into our building, what would happen is the children that were already in the building would tell them exactly about the behavior modification plan, about the behavior plan for the whole building. And the first thing they would let them know, they said, every teacher in this building is responsible for you. So Miss Johnson in first grade can tell you something and you have to do it, or Miss Matthews in eighth grade can tell you something, you would have to do it. So our children started embracing the project itself, the behavior modification project itself. And then what ended up happening also is that after we had gotten it to the level where it was very, very good, then where it was working great, then what we did is we start pulling our students in so that they could have a voice in what they wanted to see happen with this building behavior plan, whatever it was called. I forget the exact name, but it worked. But it had to be something that the whole building embraced. The whole building embraced it to the point where every teacher had to buy into it, knowing that it was something that was needed in order for our school to be successful. And it worked. It worked. Oh, wow. I talked about that. So that's one of the things that we did. And that was 19 95, 96, 97. This is 2024, and you're still having some same issues. You need to get together with some administrators in your building and try not to do everything yourself. Try not to do everything yourself. One thing I do want to mention is that when I was first started teaching, not I wasn't told this by a college professor, but I was told this by the principal in my building. He said, "Do not try to break up students fighting for your own safety." I took that at heart. Okay, I really did take that at heart because they can get to the point where they are so violent, and you being the older individual, you can seriously get hurt. So what's happening, and I'm going to be talking about this in the next couple of days, what's happening now is there are classes and trainings for restraining, on how to restrain a student or how to restrain students. They actually have trainings and classes going on for this particular, and I think it's needed. I think it's needed. First of all, I believe these children are stronger than the children I ever taught. So it makes a difference. It's not funny, but it's serious. It's serious enough to pay attention to this and just take it as it is. So this is Aurelia Davis, the educator's educator, coming to you one more time, talking about a topic that's very dear to me: student behavior, which goes along with my classroom management, because I believe all of it goes together in order for us to be able to teach our children. But teachers, if you have not gone over to the website, aureliadavis.com, go over and click on the Thrive Retreat and register so that we can get together in Tulum, Mexico, July 30th through August 4th. I'll be looking for you. Take care and have a great evening. See you soon.